So you guys not tasting about it before, eh? You war muttering for it.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Peter Sellers was a man who lived many lives, not just on screen, but off it as well. Known as the Man of 1,000 Faces, he was a master of disguise, both as a comedian and as a person. While he dazzled audiences with his unmatched ability to embody a wide array of characters, his personal life was a roller coaster of contradictions, scandals, and enigmas. From his legendary roles in the Pink Panther to the eccentricities that defined his private moments, Sellers remains one of Hollywood's most fascinating figures. But what do we truly know about the man behind the mask? Was he a misunderstood genius or a deeply flawed individual? Let's uncover the mystery of Peter Sellers and dive into the double life of this legendary chameleon. The Man of 1,000 Faces, Sellers' gift for transformation. Peter Sellers wasn't just an actor, he was a shapeshifter. Born Richard Henry Sellers on September 8, 1925, in Portsmouth, England, he grew up in a family of performers. His parents, variety entertainers themselves, nurtured his natural flair for mimicry and comedy. This foundation would shape his career and turn him into one of the most versatile actors of his time. From a bumbling French detective to a war-obsessed general, Sellers had a unique ability to disappear into his roles. His most iconic transformations include Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther series. Sellers' exaggerated French accent and unparalleled physical comedy turned Clouseau into one of cinema's most beloved characters. Dr. Strangelove, 1964. In this Stanley Kubrick masterpiece, Sellers played not one, but three roles: Group Captain Lionel Mandrake, President Merkin Muffley, and the eccentric Dr. Strangelove, showcasing his range and genius for satire. Chance the Gardener in Being There, 1979. A subdued and introspective role, this character highlighted Sellers' ability to find humor and depth in simplicity. Audiences loved him for his unpredictability on screen, but off-screen, Sellers was often described as moody, insecure, and temperamental, a stark contrast to the joyful personas he brought to life. A scandalous personal life, turbulent marriages, and dark rumors. Behind the scenes, Sellers' life was anything but a comedy. He was married 4 times, and his relationships were notoriously dramatic. His second marriage to Swedish actress Britt Ekland was perhaps the most controversial, marked by fiery arguments, manipulation, and bizarre incidents. One infamous story claims that Sellers threatened to harm himself unless Ekland married him. While the truth of this remains unclear, it certainly set the tone for their tumultuous union. Ekland later described Sellers as controlling and emotionally volatile, a man whose insecurities often got the better of him. Adding to his mystique were the persistent rumors of his two-faced nature. Colleagues described him as someone who could shift from charming to combative in a matter of moments. Sellers was known to lash out at directors and even walk off set if he felt things weren't going his way. Eccentricity or obsession. Sellers' belief in astrology. Another peculiar aspect of Sellers' life was his deep belief in astrology and the occult. He reportedly refused to make career decisions without consulting his astrologer. In one instance, he delayed signing a lucrative film contract simply because the stars didn't align in his favor. His fascination with the mystical wasn't limited to astrology. Sellers was said to frequently visit psychics and relied on their guidance for personal and professional matters. Was this a sign of his eccentric genius or a coping mechanism for the pressures of fame? Either way, it added another layer of intrigue to his persona. The genius on set, the nightmare off it. While Sellers' talent was undeniable, his behavior on set was often a source of frustration for directors and co-stars. Known for being meticulous to a fault, he frequently demanded script rewrites or refused to perform scenes as written. In one legendary incident during the filming of Dr. Strangelove, Sellers initially balked at playing multiple roles. claiming it was too much pressure. But when Kubrick insisted, Sellers delivered performances so iconic that they remain unparalleled in cinematic history. Yet, his brilliance came at a cost. His perfectionism and erratic moods led to strained relationships with collaborators. While audiences adored him, those who worked with Sellers often described him as difficult, unpredictable, and exhausting. Rumors and realities. The man behind the mask. Sellers' life was riddled with rumors, some of which continue to perplex fans. Let's address a few of the most infamous ones. Firstly, there was the Randolph Scott affair. Sellers was rumored to have had a romantic relationship with fellow actor Randolph Scott, fueled by photographs of the two sharing a home in an unusually intimate arrangement. While both men denied the allegations, the speculation persisted, adding to Sellers' reputation as a man of many secrets. In addition, Sellers' use of LSD during experimental therapy sessions in the 1960s shocked many. He claimed the experience helped him gain clarity about his insecurities and personal struggles. However, critics argue that, rather than helping him, it contributed to his erratic behavior. Were these rumors a reflection of the enigmatic man himself, or were they exaggerated tales spun by Hollywood gossip? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, iconic films that defined a legend. While his personal life was chaotic, Sellers' professional achievements were nothing short of extraordinary. His filmography is a testament to his talent and range. The Pink Panther, 1963. Sellers' portrayal of Inspector Clouseau became a cultural phenomenon, spawning multiple sequels and solidifying his place in comedy history. Dr. Strangelove, 1964. This political satire remains one of the most critically acclaimed films of all time, with Sellers' multi-role performance earning widespread praise. Being There, 1979. A quieter, more reflective role, this film showcased Sellers' depth as an actor and earned him an Oscar nomination. Even decades after his death, these films continue to captivate audiences and remind us why Sellers was considered a genius of his craft. Health struggles and a tragic end. Despite his larger-than-life persona, Sellers faced numerous health challenges. His heart problems began in the 1960s, leading to multiple heart attacks and the implantation of a pacemaker. These issues plagued him throughout his life, and on July 24, 1980, Sellers succumbed to a fatal heart attack at the age of 54. In his final years, Sellers seemed reflective, aware that his time was running out. He worked tirelessly to complete projects and even reconciled with some of the people he had alienated during his career. His death was a tragic loss, cutting short the life of a man who had so much more to give. A legacy of laughter and complexity. Peter Sellers left behind a legacy that is as complex as the man himself. On one hand, he brought joy and laughter to millions with his iconic performances. On the other, his personal life was a cautionary tale of the toll that fame and insecurity can take on even the brightest stars. Known as the man of 1,000 faces, Sellers could be anyone he wanted to be on screen. Off-screen, however, he remained an enigma, a man constantly searching for meaning, connection, and a sense of self. As we look back on his life and career, one thing is certain. Peter Sellers was a singular talent, a man whose brilliance and flaws were forever intertwined, and perhaps that's what makes him so unforgettable.